Hey, Abigail.
Hey, ladies.
Oh, look at that. It's not
Love,
Abigail.
love the background.
Giggles.
That is Giggles. She's coming as Giggles and Abigail. She's incognito. She's in the witness protection program. That's why she's got that fancy house behind her.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have a bridge behind me that's actually close to where you are, Miss Lauren.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that at Croft?
Yes. Yep. The park.
I haven't actually been on that one, but Croft has a couple really pretty bridges.
Yeah, it did. When we were getting the virtual backgrounds for the bridging ceremony, this was one of them that we put in there, and I just liked it. It's one of the few places I've been there.
How's joining us?
Oh, no pressure. We're a little staff heavy. Elena, how you doing? Are those Mickey Mouse ears, or is that your hairdo?
Yep. She's like, me?
They're, it's a headband.
Oh, so are they mouse ears or cat ears? I can't quite see.
They're,
Oh, they're
Oh, they're
fuzzy.
like little.
they're panda
Panda-
ears.
Panda
panda,
ears.
okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's fun. That's fun. Okay, as you guys know, for this session, we didn't have any supplies. So there's going to be a lot of fun and discussion, and it's all around the social butterfly badge. It's actually a pretty handy badge. There was some stuff that I learned through this badge and preparing for today that I wish I would have known at your age. So without further ado, we'll click on to the next slide, please. All right. So the badge, sorry, my screen froze for a second. What we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about how to hold a conversation and being prepared for special occasions. Now, there's other steps that you'll need to do if you want to get this badge. Using table manners, that's really easy to do with your family. Even if you're in COVID still and you're quarantined, you can still do this. And it's kind of helpful. I bet you your mom and dad would like learning it too, because sometimes we forget as adults. The say thank you, awesome way to show your family and friends that you really appreciate something they did for you. And practice being at ease. And that just comes with time. No one feels completely comfortable all the time in every situation, but there's some ways to practice and you can feel more comfortable. Because sometimes it takes away a little bit of the joy if you're worried all the time about how it's going to come across. So I was going to ask if one of the girls, if you could lead us in the Girl Scout promise and ask the other one to lead us in the Girl Scout law. Are either of you interested in leading us? You can raise your hand. Okay, Elaine. Can we unmute her so she can lead us in the promise?
On
Ready?
my honor, I will try to help
serve God and
serve
my
God
country,
and my country, to help people at all
people at all
times,
times,
and to live by the Girl Scout law.
Good job. Abigail, Giggles, did you want to lead? Yeah? Okay. No? All righty. Does anybody else want to lead? Nope. Okay, I'll lead us right on. Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do. And to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. Yeah, I like that one the best. Be a sister to every Girl Scout. Okay, so the purpose of this badge, when you've earned this badge, you'll know how to act at many types of events, from picnics to weddings to parties. So there's a lot more special occasions we'll talk about in just a little bit, but that's a pretty good badge-worthy conversation. So when would we want to start a conversation? So this is my question to you guys. When have you been in a situation where you kind of needed to start a conversation with folks? You can raise your hand. All right, Lena.
At cookie sales, when you get bored waiting for people.
Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes you've had to start a conversation with your friends, your troop mates, or even strangers in that situation. That's really good. And that is one I missed. Abigail, can you think of another time, at least one time that you had to start a conversation maybe? No? Okay, so we have a couple of them here. I'm going to let you go ahead and click through them, Ms. Lindsay. And why do I have 2 question marks there? I have no idea. Cool. Concerts and live events, large events. All right. So these are some times that we've had to start conversations. When you're growing up, sometimes you're going to a party, and sometimes it's a party for adults, but sometimes it's a party that you know your friend really well, but she or he has a whole bunch of other friends that you've never met. So sometimes at parties, we need to start a conversation. Sometimes when we're at school, if it's a new day or a new school year, sometimes we've had to meet people that are brand new to us. And sometimes when we're in a class, we might not know that many people. And so it's hard to start a conversation with them. And you get put on a school project together, and it can be a little awkward. Family reunions, a lot of times there's folks that you haven't seen in so long, and it's hard to remember anything about them. So starting a conversation with them sometimes can be hard. Religious gatherings, so that could be you're going to temple, or you're going to the synagogue, or your church, or maybe it's your grandparents' religious place, and you're meeting new people. So starting conversations there sometimes can be hard. Sometimes at camp, we might be meeting a whole bunch of new bunk mates, a whole bunch of cabin or tent buddies, people in our unit or people in our camp week. Sometimes that's virtual and sometimes that's face-to-face. Camp does a pretty good job of doing a whole bunch of warm-up games with us, but that's all to try and get us to start conversations as well. So concerts, sometimes you're waiting for the band to start or you're waiting for the performance to begin. And it's just kind of passes the time a little easier if you can start a conversation. And large events. Can either of you think of a large event that you've gone to that you've talked to people you didn't know? Yeah.
You named all the ones that I have gone to.
It sounds like you've been to a lot of different events, right? Yeah. All right, Miss Lindsay, you can go to the next one, please. Okay, what can we say? So you've been at a party or you've been at these large events and you're starting a conversation with someone. What have you used to start the conversation? I'm gonna tap Poor Puddin' and I'm gonna tap Miss Lindsay. I'll share one, but if you guys can think of a time that you had to start a conversation. So one time I was at a new church for me, and it was a different religion than I was raised in. And so I asked somebody, the woman sitting next to me, I told her, I'm new, I haven't been to this ceremony before. Can you help me out? And she spent the rest of the afternoon telling me how to do every single thing, all the rituals and all the reasons behind everything. It was like having my own personal tour guide. It was pretty cool. But I felt like I made a new friend. How about you, Miss Lindsay? We'll start with you and then we'll go to Puddin'.
Okay. The time that first came to my mind was when I went off to college. I did not know anybody. There were no one from my area went to the same college. And I went to orientation, and I talked to the girl that was next to me. And we're still friends to this day. We end up being suite mates all 4 years. So it
Cool.
just, yeah, it just worked out. So
Nice. Puddin', did you remember one?
So one of my big things is I like to compliment people on their things, like they're genuine compliments. But I always like to, tell them, I just don't like to think it like, oh, I like her shoes. I don't think it, I say it. And so I have a lot of friends that I've made just because I'm brave, and I start the conversation by saying, I like your hair, I like your bag. Oh, where did you get that?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people feel nervous to say something like that. They're like, oh, it's awkward, but I just love to say those things. So
Have you ever had anybody give you a bad reaction when you said, "Oh, I love those shoes"?
no.
No, right? It's a great way to intro. Thank you, Elena. Can you think of a time that you started a conversation? Okay, I can't let you off that easy. I'm going to let you think a little bit longer, but I'm going to go to Abigail and then come back, okay? Okay, Abigail, can you think of a conversation that you started with someone you didn't know? Okay, I need you to think a little bit harder. Elena, I'm coming back to you now.
When I was on the bus going to a camp, I was next to somebody I didn't know,
Yeah?
and I asked them about what grade they were in, and now we're really good friends.
Oh, that's awesome. See, that's a great one. Thank you for sharing. Abigail, do you have one now? Okay, cool.
It's when I was with one of my friends, and we were just kind of standing there, not really doing anything. And then I asked how her pets were doing, and then we started a conversation.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Everyone likes to talk about their pets. We don't always like to talk about our siblings, but we like to talk about our pets. Right? So there was a couple more that some other girls have given me over the years. And are you new too? That was actually my little niece, that she would always ask that the first day of school. Even if she wasn't new, she said she didn't feel it was lying because she was new to that school year. What are you most excited about? That was again from my niece. My nephew gave the, I'm new here, what is your favorite part about? And so like he would use that at camp or at school or on a new bus, whatever he was doing. How do you know Tanya? So like if I'm at a party that Tanya has invited me to and she has all these other friends, sometimes it's easier instead of talking about myself to just go, so how do you know Tanya? And that gets the conversation started, and they would usually ask me how I knew her. And so it just kind of got the conversation going. So I wasn't just sitting there or standing there not talking. Do you like to play games? What is your favorite? That is my grandson's favorite thing to say. He will be playing a game with someone while I'm waiting in line to buy movie tickets. It is amazing. And that's how he learned how to play Pokemon as well, to tell you the truth. So we have some more there. How's your day going today? Sometimes that's just a real short conversation, but it gets it started. People know you're friendly. Do you know any of the teachers here? What class is your favorite? That's especially good if you're going into a new school. May I join your conversation? Okay, so sometimes people are talking and it seems scary to go up to them if they're talking to each other. But the best thing that we've noticed is when we're working with new people is whoever's willing to do something even though they're scared. usually gets the best reward and is usually seen as someone who's confident and brave and fun, because people, they recognize it's hard to walk up to someone and say, hey, can I talk with you guys? And especially if you admit you're a little nervous or I don't really know what to say to new people, that kind of honesty really means something to people. And you'll find that they'll try to include you because everyone wants to see you succeed. How many of you, you can show me by raising your hand or your thumbs, how many of you have seen something embarrassing and you had to turn away because you felt so embarrassed for that person? No, you guys have never turned away? Okay, so I gotta admit, sometimes it even happens when I'm watching TV. If a character does something that's really embarrassing, I'm like, no. So people usually want to see you succeed. They want to have fun with you and they don't want anyone to be uncomfortable. So remember that when you're approaching people. So those are just some ways to start a conversation. Now that you've seen those, oh, sorry, Miss Lindsay, I'm not switching yet. Now that you've seen some of these ways to start a conversation, now can you think of a different way to start a conversation? So let's say it's the first day of school and you're sitting next to someone you don't know. What might you say to them? Elena, do you have something? Do you want to unmute?
Or Miss Abigail?
So it's the first day of school and someone's sitting next to you and you think, I'd really like to meet her. Like, she seems really nice. What thing do you think you could say to her that would start a conversation? Did you have your hand up, Pudding? Okay. Pudding has one.
If it's the first day of school, you could say, did you have a good summer?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys? Do you guys have any? Elena or Abigail or Kyle, if you want to share one. All right. We're gonna cruise on to the next slide then. I don't want to put too much pressure on you guys. It's a hard skill, but it's something that it gets better when you practice. So special occasion questions. Oh, be prepared. Sorry. Be prepared for special occasions. I have a fly in my house and it's driving me crazy. I apologize. You see me swatting around. Okay. What are special occasions? So Abigail, what's a special occasion?
A wedding.
Yeah, a wedding. But what do we mean when we say it's a special occasion? What's an occasion?
You can unmute yourself, Elena.
Something that happens, just anything that happens would be an occasion. Like, if you brush your teeth, that'd be the teeth brushing occasion.
That's true. Any point in time can. So when we say it's special, it's just like Abigail was saying, a wedding, a funeral, or a wake. I don't know if you've heard of these coming of age ceremonies. So coming of age means it's a certain point in time. And different cultures, different families, and different communities, they recognize different points in time in your age, and they consider you of age. So in the Jewish tradition, a bat mitzvah is a celebration of a girl turning 13. And it means that she's a young woman now instead of a child. Confirmation, it's usually a Lutheran or a Catholic religious faith, but confirmation also happens in other religions and in other organizations. And it's usually around that same age, somewhere between 13 and 18. A quinceañera That's what I had when I was a kid. A quinceañera is sort of a presentation of a 16-year-old to the world. And it used to be back in the day that it meant she was ready for marriage. When I was 16, that's not what it meant. It meant that I was to behave like a young lady. So I would use please and thank you, and I would use the right utensils, and I had to learn how to dance certain dances. So there's all sorts of special occasions. What else might be a special occasion? Anybody have any more special occasions that they can think of? Yes, Elena.
A birthday?
Right, a birthday. What else? Yes, Miss Lindsay.
The birth of a child.
Right, the birth of a child, or right before the birth of a child, we might have a baby shower for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Anybody else? Yes, Elena.
Bridging.
Bridging, that's a good one. Again, not even on my radar. I must be just backwards. I know one of the first formal celebrations I went to, a special occasion, was my grandmother and my grandfather. It was their 50th wedding anniversary, and it was very formal. I remember because my shoes were new and I kept falling down. But sometimes it's a graduation ceremony. Sometimes it's a special performance like a ballet or live theater. Sometimes those are special occasions. And we might be meeting people in a special way. Okay, so when we're going through these special occasions, you can go to the next slide, please. We might have some questions. So when we're thinking about special occasions, we want to think about, why is the ceremony being held? You can click to the next one. Cool. And what important rituals are there? And one of the key ones that always gets me is, how should I dress? And then, what's a helpful skill you should know before you're attending? When is the occasion usually held? And is there something that is especially nice to say or wish to the host or guests of honor? Now, so when we talk about our cultures, that's the group that we grew up with, the traditions that we grew up with. We talk about it in Girl Scouts all the time. We have culture and tradition in Girl Scouts as well. So if we were going to a ceremony, let's say you were going to a bat mitzvah. Have you ever been to a bat mitzvah? Raise your hand if you have. All right. So a bat mitzvah is, again, I told you it's a ceremony in the Jewish tradition, and it means the girls come of age. Now there's a church part of it. In the synagogue, there's a religious part of it. And believe it or not, the girl actually speaks in another language. She reads the Torah, which is their religious book. And it's kind of a neat ceremony because as she's reading, it's almost like a song. But then right after that, we all shuffle off into the next room, and it is a big party. I mean, the parties are usually so big, you would think it was a wedding and an anniversary and a birthday all rolled into one. It's just a big party at the end of it. But it means something to her. So the first one I went to, I didn't know, so I asked questions. And at first I thought I would embarrass myself, or I was afraid I might hurt her feelings. But one thing I noticed, if I ask people questions, it shows two things. It shows that I'm interested, and therefore they're interesting, and that I care. Because if you ask questions, right, it means you're interested in something. Okay, so what can we say? So if we were at a wedding, Abigail, I'm going to ask you first, okay? If we're at a wedding, what would you say to the happy couple when it's all over and we're getting ready to go?
I hope you are happy together.
That is a perfect one. That is a perfect one. Puddin', I'm going to put you on the spot. It's the same wedding. What would you say as you're leaving?
I would say the ceremony was beautiful, or
Nice.
something like that.
Nice. Elena.
Congratulations.
Right. Just simply recognizing, wow, this was great. Congratulations, you guys found each other. That's awesome. Miss Lindsay, did you want to say anything?
I think she took mine. I would also say congratulations or something about what's the next move.
Right, right. It doesn't have to be a big, huge thing, does it? Just a simple way to go. So we also have special occasions that are sometimes sad, and that's a funeral or a wake. Do you guys know what a wake is? You want to raise your hand if you know what a wake is? No, okay. So some cultures and traditions, they separate the actual funeral from the family viewing or the wake. So the wake is a separate ceremony, and it's usually the night before the funeral, the night before the burial. And it's a time usually when family and friends come together and they share some happy memories that they've had. It's usually a little bit more casual. It's not quite as formal. But if you were at a funeral or a wake, and let's just pretend I'm the person and I've lost one of my cousins and I'm pretty sad, but you know me, what might you say to me to make me feel a little better? Or just what? Yes, Elena.
I am sorry for your loss.
That's a great one, because it is a loss, right? I'm a little sadder because of it. Abigail, what might you say to me?
I hope you had a good life.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Do you guys want to share anything?
I would say I definitely, especially if it was like losing a grandparent, because I lost, my grandparents, I would say
Yeah.
understand what you're going through versus if it was like their mother or father, because I did not lose a mother or father. I would say my heart goes out to you, and if there's anything that I could do to help, please let me know.
Mhm.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Kyle. That's really good. So what if it's celebration? So it's a bat mitzvah, maybe it's a confirmation, or like I said, that fancy quinceañera, or it might be a birthday. What might you say then?
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. What else might we say?
I think Abigail said something, but she was on mute.
Oh, Abigail. Let's try one more time. This is why she's called Giggles, right there.
So
All right.
I think I would say, like at a coming of age thing, I'd be like, this is an exciting time, or, the future's wide open, something like super optimistic.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. One of one of the things that my grandmother used to say to us all the time was, may peace find you this year and next. And she would say that at almost everything. I think she had a little tattoo of it, so she'd remember it. But that was her way of just saying, I hope you had a great year, and I hope you have another great year coming. But yeah, peace was pretty important to her. So the next part we get into is what to wear. So we have a picture here of a couple of different fashion choices. And believe it or not, all these folks are around that same age. They're just from different cultures, and we all come in different sizes and shapes. But if I was going to a funeral, would I wear the outfit on the left there, the girl with the phone? No? Yeah, I agree with you. That might be a little too casual. How about the one in the center? Would I wear that? No, maybe not. It looks like I'm kind of going to a celebration, right? How about the one on the right? Might I wear that one? Maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't wear the sunglasses. Yeah. So if I just had the outfit but without the sunglasses and hat, would it look formal enough? Yeah. All right. So one of the ways that we can, if you ever feel uncomfortable about that, again, just ask somebody, even the person that's having it. like the girl on the left, believe it or not, she's ready to go to a celebration of life. So it was an after funeral celebration. They were spreading the ashes at the beach. And they were told, please wear your beach casual clothes. So it was very appropriate. And they said no shoes. So there she is. The girl in the center, it was definitely a celebration. So it was a celebration for an anniversary. It was around a holiday as well. I can't remember the full story behind that one. But yeah, the girl on the end, she took her sunglasses off and she was going to a family memorial service, which is another way of celebrating the life of someone who's passed. So, but again, it comes back to asking. So if someone's throwing a party, ask them, you know, what should we wear? Oh, you should definitely, you know, wear your swimsuit and bring a change of clothes because we're going to eat dinner after. It's great to ask because otherwise you don't want to show up without your swimsuit because then you can't go in the pool, or at least it won't be as comfortable. But if somebody's having a big graduation ceremony and there's going to be dancing, maybe you want to put on your comfortable but dressy shoes. Maybe you want to wear a dress that time or a pantsuit that's something really nice because they're going to be taking pictures. They might share all sorts of fun facts with you. So if you don't know, it's always a good idea to ask. And no one ever got in trouble for asking. No one. All right, we're going to switch on to the next slide, please. Oh, wow. Okay, so we covered the hold a conversation and we talked about being prepared for special occasions. You guys, the next three things you can easily do with your family. I really encourage you to pursue these and go after the badge. So learning to use table manners, saying thank you, and practice being at ease. It was Girl Scouts that taught me table manners. And when I ate in the United States White House there was the minister from England. I didn't get too close to the president, but he was up there. I did not feel nervous, and I was the only person who knew what the 11 implements were on the table and what they were for. And that's really important with the French. So it was a good reason to learn table manners. So check it out, and you can look it up on the website, and you can even have a contest with your family to see if your parents and your siblings, to see if they know table manners and what that special fork is for. All right, and the next one. Do you guys have any questions? I know we kind of spent a little time on each one, but do you have any questions on anything? No? Giggles is no. How about you, Elena? My panda-eared girl? No? All right. I want to eat what Elena's eating. Okay, next slide, please. Cool. So next week, we're going to be doing a session called Flower Power. You can check that out. There's a badge associated with it. But we're also going to be doing on Tuesday evening, we have the Girls Only Lounge, and it's on origami. So you want to look it up because there is a supply list. Miss Lindsay is celebrating up there because she's going to be leading it for us. She's going to be doing a lot of origami this weekend, I have a feeling. She gets excited about these, and so do I. If you haven't gotten it yet, we still have some of the patches available for these kind of virtual programs. And, you know, reach out to us and let us know how you're doing. And take pictures if you end up doing the table manners with your family. I'd love to see photos of mom and dad trying to get it right. All right? Okay, you guys have a good day. Thank you for coming. Bye.